looks like you, but it's not you. This is so weird.
This is an interesting show today. John, are you going to jump on Zoom also?
I am on Zoom.
Oh, you are. I mean, as the other guy.
No, I do not have the capacity to do that.
Okay.
My brain will explode at this point. I'm just rocking out over here.
I should turn my video off on Zoom, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Gail. Hi, Jana. Hi, Evan.
Good morning. I like the music.
And we're live.
We're here already.
We're here.
We're
It's
live.
happening.
Welcome, everybody, to the Connect Show. We join you each week to celebrate small business like you and give you the resources you need to be successful.
Easy for you to say. It's important to recognize the challenges we face and have the support of our community. And I was talking into a random mic that I did not need to speak into. So along with our weekly Connect Show, Tracy and I will be hosting a new networking event each week on Friday mornings, and it's called the Epic Business Connection Networking Event. And I'm John, she was Tracy. Now we got it right. Epic is 10 a.m. on Friday mornings, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that as the day goes by.
So if you're in Zoom land, put your contact information in the chat. And if you're not in Zoom land, if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, you can go and like and subscribe to our podcasts, LinkedIn, YouTube's, Facebook's, and anywhere else that we are.
So our guests today are Randy Pizer from the author1stop.com, and that's in Pinole, California, and we're going to get a correction on that and a clarification. We also have Roy Dickin from Clear Choice Marketing Group in Apex, North Carolina. So we have a truly national show today, and it's going to be fun.
We also want to talk about our Fusion event coming up on the 25th.
Yeah, the Fusion event's going to be pretty amazing. What's going on the 25th, Tracy?
So we've confirmed we have 9 speakers. It's from 1 to 4 p.m. It's all on Zoom, and it's free to come. So if you haven't signed up yet, go to the website. You'll see all the speakers there and the time that they're going to speak, so you can show up at the times you want to be there.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and I keep wanting to talk into that microphone. I just need to get rid of this thing. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and each event is a 10-minute long teaching session followed by a 10-minute long action item. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for growth, for development, for learning, for changing those behaviors, and to move on to a prosperous and wonderful 2022, and we're looking forward to it. So Tracy, what have you done different in sales and marketing this year?
This year so far, not too much, but I am focusing a little bit more on the tracking of social media and analytics and everything that I'm doing.
And how do you, when you talk about tracking and analytics, how do you do that?
So you're going into each account, whether it's Google Analytics, analyzing some of the stuff that's in there, documenting it, and then going back in there again next month or a couple weeks, and then comparing to see the difference and watching to see how they're changing based on the things that you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And
So, I mean, I always start it every year, but I never follow through.
do you use a some type of a journal or spreadsheet to keep track of that?
Just Google Sheets.
You are the Google
I love
Sheet
Google Sheets.
master. You're a Google Sheet ninja. I think that could be a new title, and you won't get sued by Google, right?
No, I would. And I don't even know that much about it. I just know enough to do what I want to do.
That's all you need.
That's true.
That's all you need.
How about you? What are you doing differently
Well,
for marketing?
In sales and marketing, I'm staying really focused on the process. So I don't think that I had like a formal discovery process and a formal email sequence that I would send people from the beginning to the end. And like yesterday, I was just working on the closing email. The person said, yes, I want to be on the show. I want to be a part of this process. And what's next? And so I had written a couple of emails on that, but I didn't really go through it and say, is this the best way of saying all these things? And so now I have a series of emails through the steps of the process of the sales. And then I can work on those emails and all that communication so that it's extremely clear for everybody. And then if I have them all, like the old way was I would just send people emails and then the next person I would rewrite those emails. So this way, at least I have a little bit of organization. And then when someone comes back to me and says, I don't understand that, or how does this work, or where's the clarity in this particular subject, then I can review what I'm writing and then modify that and continually improve that sales process from beginning to end. So I'm pretty darn excited about that one. And I got a clicky mouse today. Hear it? It's going to be loud.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get through it.
I do love those pre-programmed emails. I use them a lot.
I'm not pre-programming them. I'm just writing them in Evernote. So I have email 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Evernote, and then I have because it's all the same information for each guest, but then there's differences. So
well, you have to change up each one, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So it's
but the bulk of it is already written.
Yeah. Systematizing.
Yeah, those are. Yeah, I love systems.
Yep. So moving on.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to our quote of the day.
Oh, I thought we were going to share information with the group in the chat. I skipped.
I think that was coming after the quote.
Oh, okay. I'm in the wrong order.
In the vitamins for the soul.
I'm in the wrong order then. My bad. So the quote of the day is focus on creating and producing a future, not what happened yesterday. And that's from the sales master and genius, Grant Cardone. And that is great advice because I'm guilty of reliving, rehashing, getting into those mind things where I think about the past. So I am happy to have that reminder today. Vitamins for the soul. That's the official theme song. Look at that. Isn't that cute?
That's cool.
Kinda. I don't know. We're gonna use it for now.
Now we're on the vitamins. Did you just do the vitamins for the soul?
I did the splasher, yeah.
Okay, cool. Now question is to our audience, what are they doing to focus on their future? Either with sales and marketing or anything that you're working on this month that just started that has to do with your future.
Mm-hmm. Gail, would you like to start off the conversation?
Ooh, you're catching me. I don't really have anything new that I implemented. I'm keeping pace with what I did last year. It worked well, and I really haven't added anything new. So I guess I still use my paper planner, and I use my CRM that I have and my Excel sheets, and I don't do anything fancy. So I'll be curious to see what someone else has to say. I mean, I think it's all about follow-up, really. It's really staying in front of people. We have a great follow-up program. I always say, if you go fishing and drop a worm in and you don't keep going back and you don't know anything about their company, you're not going to get them. So it's really doing the upfront work, being prepared when you go to meet with them, and having a great follow-up. That's it for me.
I love it. I love it. Joanna.
Yeah, I really haven't done too much new yet this year. We had an interesting conversation yesterday on the think tank about CRMs, and everybody had shared their thoughts on the different CRM programs. I would like to do some investigation of some of those. Generally, I just try to keep track of my emails, and if I have a bunch of clients at the same time to follow up with, or potential clients to follow up with, I try to keep track of those in a spreadsheet. So very simple stuff. I'm not really experiencing a lot of volume at the moment, unfortunately. So I haven't had any problems with that system so far.
So
Okay,
next
cool.
up, Evan.
Just need to find the unmute button, that's all. For me, complete restart in sales and marketing approach and strategy. My approach starting out last year was primarily networking and relationship building, and that was not successful in much. And so this year it's about visibility and lead generation to start. So I've reached out to a bunch of folks to help me out, because I need a lot of help in designing a strategy and executing. And so that's where I'm going.
That's great. I mean, when you're trying to figure out how to move forward in your business, trying a bunch of different things is always important and good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And testing them out to balance them out against each other.
And Al, you're coming out to us from the Great Smoky Mountains, looks like.
Well, actually, that was Ecuador, but it's beautiful Andes Mountains.
Yeah,
Beautiful area.
it is. So
Al, what are you doing differently for your
Well,
future?
what I did is I took last year's, I'm old-fashioned like Gail, and I have my calendar, I have my, this here called a smartphone, but I ain't that smart, so I rely on old-fashioned method and trying to combine more on the smartphone. And in reviewing last year's monthly activity, I realized that where I was really blowing it up, if you will, when I was out there face to face. I enjoyed the face to face with people. I visit. Sometimes we don't talk much about the business, but that's okay. So I just keep building relationships and seeing the people. And yes, Gail, money is in the follow-up. And where I have been following up and following through, not just up, but follow through. And it's, 5, 6 times, 8 times sometimes. And there's a point that I realize I have to just say next and move on. So I'm moving forward, being organized and focused on being like I'm here today. Tomorrow I'm going to be a face-to-face network. Thursday I'm running on appointments. And so life is good. Just being active, being out there, being among people. I just enjoy sharing and caring, and it works for me. And the more I give, and sometimes I mess up, understand, but that's okay. Just pick yourself up by the bootstrap and go forth. What's in back of us? Well, we can't do much about it. We got to learn and grow. And that's what I'm still, at my young age here, I'm still growing. So God is good. Life is good. So I'm excited about 22 because it's going to be a great year. And I have to learn to say more often no than yes to people, to focus on the priorities of my life. Besides serving others, also got to take care of my own home front and my other plan that I've got going in ministry, working that also. So everything is good. Focus
Bill.
on going forth.
Thank you. You touched on a little
Awesome.
bit what Grant Cardone said. That was good.
How
Karen.
about Karen?
Hi. What am I doing differently? I really revved up the end of last year. And I actually, I think it's probably about October. I said, you know what? I really want to step into my passion. And so I did. I work holistically and I enjoy everything I do. I do have a passion though, and the passion is in personal development. So I am actually, next Monday, I'm offering a class. It's for everyone, but it is titled Building Relationships and Trust. Know yourself before you sell yourself. So it sounds like it's for business people. It's actually for everyone, because even in relationships, we sell ourselves, right? So everybody can attend. And I'm really excited about it. This is something that was introduced to me 36 years ago. The information literally helped me change my life. And it's a gift I want to share with people. So I'm stepping into my passion big time, and meeting more people and guiding them if they want to be guided. So I'm very excited about it. It'll be a 6-month series, one class each month for 6 months. And so as far as CRMs, I'm like Alan Gale. I use my planner. I'm the kind of person that I have to write everything down. I have to see it on paper. Otherwise, I forget to look. I'm on WhatsApp in several groups for the company I'm affiliated with. I forget to look at it every day. It's like, it doesn't notify me. I forget. So I look at my planner. It's right there. I see it in black and white and I act on it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, that
And
was
Debbie.
Lots going on, always looking to redo the website and expand our benefit package that we're offering. So I'm offering the ICRA plan as of January 1st, which is a whole new animal for me. So that's exciting and scary. So that means we have to redo some marketing materials, and by June, I'm looking to reach out and hiring a marketing company to do some of the heavy lifting for me and get it off my shoulders. But I want to do my due diligence first and make sure what we're offering and get that cleaned up and get the website updated. So that's it. Nothing exciting. And as far as CRMs, we have a business system that we implemented that we use. to keep track of all that information for us. So that's handy. But otherwise, that's it. Nothing exciting.
I thought your word of this year was budget.
Oh, seriously, that went out the window January 2nd.
Oh,
Everything I look at, it's like, oh Lord, I'm gonna have to get a part-time job to stay within my budget. Yeah.
all right, we'll try again
Yeah.
next year.
Next month we'll try it again.
Well, Tracy, let's jump into a quick commercial, get ready for our first guest, and get things rolling. What do you say?
But before we do that, I do want to make a quick acknowledgement that Kim is not with us today because her father passed away. And so we will be doing an improv networking report.
Yeah, and we'll do that a little bit later, but first we're going to have a commercial to give me a minute to get everything set up for our first guest. Is now off, and now it's back on because we have that little button that does that. And that is wonderful. So our first guest is Roy, and for more than 12 years, he has been teaching coaches, small businesses, and entrepreneurs how to grow their business using free organic traffic and providing any necessary resource a company may need to put a daily method in place to achieve the dreams of the owners who started the business and allowed the growth year after year.
He speaks to groups each month about client attraction and offers paid training programs so that the online marketers, storefronts, professionals, and entrepreneurs can develop a consistent stream of ideal prospects coming to their websites. This is a long sentence. He believes there has never been a better time to start a business or make it prosperous than there is today, even if the owners don't know how. It is his aspiration to help as many small business owners take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And with that, thank you very much for joining us, Roy. Let's see if we can make this whole thing work. We're missing a button. There we go. Hey, we're all here. How's it going, Roy? Oh, we don't have Roy's audio on this thing. Give me a second, Roy. There's a lot of buttons over here. Now we can hear you.
Can you hear me okay now?
We can. That was me. That was me.
Hi, Roy. So how's your day going so far?
It's been good. I've got an early start, so a call at 7:30 this morning, my time, which is 6:30 your time. So it's rolling right along. It's going to be a long day, but I love long days.
Wonderful. So when people want to sell on the internet, is Google My Business still relevant?
Well, not only is it relevant, but for a local business, it's the most important thing. Now, in order to really use it properly, it should be integrated with the website. So you need a website and you also need a Google My Business listing. But Google up Google My Business in order for local companies, small companies that don't necessarily have a great brand yet to be able to compete effectively with the big brands, because the big brands have basically taken over the search results pages. But a Google My Business listing allows you to show up in a map in a lot of cases for keywords that bring up that map. And therefore, there's a set of keywords that are more important to small businesses and local businesses than they are to large companies. So if you use this effectively, there are certain pages you totally dominate. What happens is you can get on the page with 2 other people. There are 3 people that show up in the map. The 3 people that are in that map, that are on that page for the keyword that's been searched for, share the majority of the clicks for that page. It doesn't matter how many big brands there are. There could be all 10 of the main results on the page may be big brands, and you may not be a big brand. But if you're in that map, you and the 2 other companies in that map will get the majority of the clicks on that page. So it's really, really important for local companies, small businesses, work at home outfits. And there's never been anything like this at this point, because all of a sudden it became really, really important when this pandemic thing hit. And because we don't know when it's ever going to go away, this is it. This is a lifetime opportunity right now. And it may be that local businesses get to jump ahead of the curve and vault all kinds of their competition by using Google My Business properly during these crazy times.
Wait one moment, Tracy. We're not hearing you. Now you can go. There you go.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Okay. I totally agree with that. This is a really good time to dive into your digital marketing and your Google My Business stuff, because that is the only way people are really seeing other places right now.
It's a
For
really unique.
myself, sorry, there's a little bit of a delay.
Go ahead, Tracy.
I was just going to ask you about website optimization also, because that's pretty important.
Well, this is interesting also. Website optimization has totally changed in the last few years, specifically this year. And what has happened is Google no longer really cares much about how you show up on a PC, because more people actually search the internet using a mobile device. So at this stage of the game, Google cares about what kind of an opportunity you give to the searcher on a mobile device. So they're not even calculating how you show up on a PC at this point. So as long as you concentrate how you show up on a mobile device, you come out really well. Now that's a total change. 3 years ago, they weren't considering mobile devices at all. 2 years ago, they were kind of part of the picture. Last year, they became the main part of the picture. And now the measurements that they rate you on are all based on how you show up on a mobile device and how people can interact with you on a mobile device. So search engine optimization is essentially totally different today. It's all based on the user experience. And right now, the only user experience Google cares about is a mobile device. Now, the reason behind that is really that Google wants to make sure they continue to get the majority of the searchers. There are more search engines these days, but Google still has about 95% of the search share. They don't want to lose that. So they want to make sure that anybody that keys in a search gets exactly the result they were hoping for. And because most of these searches are now on mobile devices, Google actually goes through mathematical calculations to determine how your website shows up on a mobile device. So it's a total different way of deciding who appears on page 1 of Google and who appears in the Google 3-pack, which is the 3 companies that show up in the map.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely important to think about. The mobile experience is the it's the experience to drive to go towards.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it was that weighted towards mobile at this point. So to get that clarification is really, I think, valuable, because I still want to make a website for a PC where I can have a big banner with lots of video on it. And that's not best for a mobile device.
Well, when you make your banners for the PC, check them on a mobile device and see how they look there, because there are all kinds of calculations that are come about. Your banner could actually cause a user experience that's not as good, but as long as it doesn't affect a user experience on a mobile device, it's terrific. And images can be really strong on a mobile device, but you need to check them to make sure, because just because we put together a nice looking situation on a PC, that's not how the majority of the people are going to find us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just simple, just check it. And really, it's good to check it with more than one type of device, but most people still search with phones, so that's the main one to test. But then there are tablets and pads and things like that. It's good to check them secondarily. You may be really happy with the look there, but remember that the phone is the most important.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Mhm.
real quick on that, we're talking, I'm still in the header and the banner, because that's all that matters to me, because I'm just shallow. I get done with the banner and I'm
Not
done with the
shallow.
site. But I'm seeing a lot of banners and headers that are just big text, like typography, headers, a gradient or a color in the background. Now, how has that shift happened? And how does that affect our ratings, our rankings, our SEO, etc.?
Well, a lot of what people are doing now really affect the rankings in a negative way, because we haven't been used to worrying about showing up on a digital device properly. But the most important thing you can do with a banner is to grab somebody's attention, because you'll have just a couple of seconds to grab their attention and have them begin to look at the site. As long as the banner does that, they don't have to even read it. They just have to stop, and then they have an opportunity to check it out. But if you can grab the attention, that's the most important thing that you can do. And a banner can do that very effectively, especially as long as you realize that you have to get their attention in less than 2 seconds, or they're gone and may never come back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any questions?
So
Go ahead.
I was going to ask him the question about creating articles and the blogging ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, articles are more important than ever, because most people actually are looking for information. Now, if your banner grabs their attention and they stop, that's really good, but that's really all it has to do. Then they have to be able to look at your site and find something valuable. And that valuable content is usually an article. Or maybe it's just a page with a good paragraph here and there. Within that article or that paragraph, the keywords that you use need to attract your ideal prospect. And if they do, more people will come to your website for free. More people will come to your Google My Business listing for free. It turns out that articles are really, after you've got their attention and they're actually on your site, they are the most important thing about your site. And what you want to be able to do with that article is keep them there. You'd really love for them to read the whole thing, but in order to do that, the article has to be easy to read. Maybe a paragraph is only one sentence, and then you move on to the next. It has to be easy to read, because if it's difficult to read, they'll just jump away, maybe even leave the whole site. So the article is so important. Now, the other thing that's really different now is, as of about, I don't know, maybe 16 months ago or so, a longer article became more important. A lot of times people were using short articles going back a few years, and that worked well. But now Google, in order to give you the free organic traffic, wants you to really be an expert in your niche. And if you can write a long article, this isn't a person that's actually evaluating your site. It's actually part of an artificial intelligence mechanism, and I look at it as an internet bot. And so I look at these internet bots as people, because that's the closest thing to a person that's really going to read your site or your Google My Business listing. And these Google bots get programmed, and 1,400 words used to be, about 16 months ago, used to be the thing they're programmed for, to really enjoy and then send a lot of free traffic for you. Now it's probably 2,000 words. And part of the reason that there's an increase in words is because more and more people are getting good at certain niches. And in order to be able to choose who are the best, they want an article that has a whole lot of relevant keywords. One keyword may bring someone there, but if it has a lot of relevant keywords within the article itself, keywords that an authority would know to include, it's easier for them to categorize you as the authority for that niche. And the ideal situation is to become the authority for your local area. And then once that happens, then pretty soon you become the authority for a larger area, and then eventually the whole country, and maybe even other countries. But it all starts with becoming the authority for your area. And that really happens with these articles. If a page has 1,400 words or 2,000 words, that can work just as well. But what's really interesting is, a good way to drive free traffic to your website is to include a blog page. I don't know how many people actually have a blog page on their website, but this has become really, really important. And this is a place where you can put you can go after the different keyword sets, a keyword set being in an article, that will become an authority for more and more and more things. And that just sends more and more and more free traffic to your website and your Google My Business listing. So articles have become extremely important.
I love to hear that blogging is still relevant and still an important part of what we do, because it seems to be coming back. It kind of went away for a while, and now it seems to be moving towards popular again. And I hear a little bit of an echo, so we'll see if we can clean that up. So, Roy, do you have any offers that you'd like to share with the audience today? And
we have a couple of questions in our audience.
Oh, yes. What are the questions?
Do you want the questions first or the offer first?
Well, how about we do the questions, Tracy?
Sure. Gail asks, does a photo make you stop more when more than a banner? Is it the words you use in the banner?
It's hard to say what is attention grabbing, so it's really good to experiment with different things. But generally, a banner is no more than a photo. If it doesn't capture your attention quickly, they're not even going to read the banner. So if it's going to be one or the other, if the banner looks kind of like a photo to start with and it stops people in their tracks, that's great. Then they read it. So you've got to think what happens first. Attention has got to be grabbed within a couple of seconds, or they'll either scroll, or they'll either move away from your website or go to another page. So in a sense, the picture is more important for the first 2 seconds.
And Joanna
And that-
asks, how do you find the keywords that are best?
This is one of the things that takes a little more time, but it's so important. What you need to do is, if you've got your Google My Business listing set up and you got your website set up, then you need to find the keywords that are going to go on each. And the way to determine what these are is what brings people, what attracts your ideal client. So, for example, if somebody is a roofer, and I don't think, well, anyway, we'll just use that as an example. Then they want to find words that people would put in to search for a roofer when their roof needs repair or needs replacement. So and then when you think you know a word that might work, for example, if somebody were to want to replace their roof and they didn't know if they wanted shingles, or they wanted a metal roof, or they wanted a tile roof, then somebody may put in tile roof, and then they may put in the town that you're in, Milwaukee or whatever. And this will actually bring up a map. That's what you want to find, the things that bring up maps, because this is the way they've given small businesses and people that work at home and a chance to really shine and get a lot of free traffic. Because in my opinion, the more free traffic you get, the better it is. I don't really like paying for ads. I may occasionally do so, but if for some reason I'm not getting enough organic traffic. The words that bring up the maps are what you want. So when you think you know what people will put in to search for somebody who has what you are offering, somebody that is providing what they are looking for, try that. Put it into a search and see what comes up. If it brings up a map, mark it down. You're going to want to use that. And you want to find as many of these as you can, because the first time that you actually come up on a Google map, they call that the Google 3-pack, that begins to establish your authority. That's the greatest thing that can happen for a local business. And once you show up on one, it's a lot easier to show up for the second one. And once you show up for two, it's easier to show up for three, and so forth. So one important thing to spend time on is looking for the keywords that are the kind of things you wish people would put in if they were looking for you. And then you want to show up when that keyword is put in and they are looking for something you offer. You're one of the three anyway, that's there. So this is really critical. And that's what I think is the most important thing, is to find the ones that will actually bring up maps. What occurs when you start showing up on some of these maps is you start showing up on page one, here, there, all over the place. So the maps just start the whole process the quickest way it can possibly start.
I think that's I'm really looking forward. Do you have an offer that you can share with the audience that we can get more information on how to do this?
Yes. If anyone would want to go to meetwithroy.net and set up an appointment, what I can do is analyze your online presence right now, and you can explain to me what your business is, how you want to be found, and we can begin getting an idea what your ideal prospect is. And then we can talk about how you can get started using this process. By the end of that call, you should know how to begin getting your Google My Business listing, bringing in the kind of people that you want to get in front of. So just go to meetwithroy.net and pick out a time that works for you. And I'm looking forward to talking with you and explaining this. It's really simple. Everybody should be doing it.
Thank you so much, Roy. This has been a very informative. I'm going to be giving you a call because I would like to be #1 on the map myself. I think that would be a wonderful goal for 2022. How about you, Tracy?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep.
That's always my goal.
Yes. There is a great thing about being #1. And Roy, thank you so much. I think this was like so informative. This was really great that you could join us. And I think a lot of people are going to be taking you up on your offer. And with that, we're going to do a brief networking report, and then we're going to talk to our second guest. And I'm going to move over here awkwardly. There we go. Don't mind me. This isn't happening. We're short a person. There we go. Oh, we got that silly little box on. That's the me and you box. Look at that. Hey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that off.
Like you're sitting on my shoulder.
Yeah, we'll just not do that. There we go. Okay. Let her rip, Tracy. How's that networking report working? Or do you want me to do it?
You can do it. Because you're more familiar with Epic than I am.
Hey, how about that? Well, this is the networking report.
Epic.
It's epic, an epic networking report. On Friday mornings, we have a business connections group called Epic Networking. It's Friday at 10 a.m. And it's a great way to introduce yourself. And we're getting away from the word pitch, and we're talking about introduction, so you can build relationships and connect with people who could be a valuable referral partner and help you grow your business. Think of it as connecting with people who could be the supply chain for your customer. So Tracy and I work well together. She does websites and I do video. We're perfect. So what we can do is be a supply chain for a client. And I'm sure there's a lot of you who do other things, and you can team up with other people to be that supply chain for other clients. So join us Friday morning at 10 a.m. for the Epic Networking event. And
I put the link in the chat.
we have the link in the chat, and that's so wonderful. And what are we going to do next? I think we're going to have another guest, and I could really use Dave today. Hey, how about that?
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Oh, thank you. I don't think so, but you're being so kind as you always are. So let's move on. Yeah, it's all you.
Ooh, Randy Pizer edits and ghostwrites books and gets the author's books deals with literary agents and publishers. Her clients have been featured on Hallmark TV, Daily Mail TV, Oprah Magazine, and Time Magazine, and in the Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller lists, airport bookstores, FedEx Office and Office Max stores, and more.
So she's the author of Crappy to Happy. I love that name. That is so fantastic. As featured in the movie Eat, Pray, Love. Oh my gosh, we have so many questions. The Power of Miracle Thinking, and the Write a Book program. www.author1stop.com. If you look up the word savvy in the dictionary, a picture of Randy appears. That's great. David Tyreman said that. Branding strategist for Ralph Lauren and author of a world famous book that we cut that little section off. So Randy, thank you so much for being here. Let me pop over. Look at that. There you are. And your audio's not on, so now you have to say hello
to be
again.
here, and I'm hoping that the information I share is vital for you bringing your business forward.
Thank you so much. We missed the beginning of your introduction, so you have to say hello again.
Hi, everyone. I'm Randy Pizer at Author One Stop, and I'm really here to help you move your business forward. I'm really an expert in networking. So, I mean, I live in the book world. I help first-time authors and professionals get book deals with the top publishers, but I'm also a networking pro. So I have a lot of information that I want to share with you that I believe you can use in your business today.
Mm. So,
It's great. I love networking.
Yes, one of the things, the problems I hear, people show up in all kinds of networking events, and now there's this huge plethora of online virtual opportunities, especially made possible through Zoom, except people will often say things that aren't attracting the right people to them. And so I have a very simple formula for networking, and it's a fill in the blank formula, which is I help who do what? I help who do what? It's a very, very simple formula. But this is what happens. A lot of people will say, you know, I'm a life coach and I'll help you up level your business. I'll help you up level, you know, whatever your issues are in your life, I can help you. But you're not creating a visual in anyone's mind. So, for example, many life coaches might say things, I'll help you find your authentic self. But think of this from the perspective, not from your mind, but from your potential client or buyer's mind. What is the self-talk they have going on in their own mind? That is critical because people are not walking around saying, oh God, I wish I had my authentic self. What is my authentic self? No, that's not what they're saying. So think about their actual self-talk. Not your pitch, their self-talk. Now, I learned to pitch from a 5-year-old. His name is Gabriel. And so I like to share this story about how to pitch yourself like a 5-year-old. So in addition to doing books, helping people write books, all that whole world, my book world, I'm also on faculty for an organization called CEO Space International. And this is pre-COVID. I'm at a conference where I'm teaching for this organization, and there are about 250 adults and one 5-year-old who is Gabriel, the son of a woman who's teaching about marketing. So I'm running a dinner table, and all of our dinner tables, they're working tables. We're all eating from our buffet food, but we're having a conversation that's about each person's business. And this little 5-year-old walks up to my table and says, my business is I draw pictures that you could put on your refrigerator with magnets. And then he said, give me a 5, a 10, a 20, or 100. And he stood there. Now, what are you going to say to a little kid who's asking you for a 5, a 10? Actually, he didn't say a 5. He said a 10, a 20, or 100 and just stood there. Well, you know, thinking very fast, I said, what can I get for $1? And now this is visual. This was his response. Nothing. And he walked away, went to another table, and within 3 days, a 5-year-old had $400 in his pocket.
Mm.
I can guarantee no adult walked away with money. So I say, let's unpack what he did. When he said, I draw pictures that you could put on your refrigerator with magnets. Can we all get a visual in our minds of that? Yes. Now think about your own pitch. How visual are you? The more visual you can be, because people primarily process information visually. Of course, you can bring in auditory or feeling, kinesthetic, touch, whatever, all the other senses. But the majority of people are going to think of things visually. Mm-hmm. Is your pitch visual? So was his pitch visual? Yes, absolutely. We can all see that image of pictures on a refrigerator. Now, was his ask clear? Yes, give me a 10, a 20, or 100. He was very, very clear. When somebody asks you about your price point, are you clear? Are you quick? Now, another thing regarding price. I always invite people to a 15-minute conversation with me. If they're thinking about a book, they have an idea, they want us to ghostwrite a book, or they've written one, we're going to edit it, whatever. They're looking for an agent, a publisher. But I want to have a 15-minute conversation with them first, so I understand exactly what their book needs, the direction it needs to go in, and they need to get and in your case, your sense of integrity. They need to establish that bond with you. So if somebody just contacts me asking about, what do you charge for editing? I will never tell them up front until I've had 15 minutes with that person, because you cannot share your value just by sending somebody your price sheet. You just can't. They have to get who you are. They really have to see you and feel like, oh yeah, this is the right person who has the information I need. So think about that when you're thinking about price. So let's get back to our little story here. Gabriel was crystal clear, 10, 20, or 100. And then he stood there, did not say one word. Do we overtalk? Do we just keep moving on in our conversation? Or do we allow the other person time to process that information? So the next step, when I asked him, what can I get for $1? Was he willing to compromise his value? No, not at all. Now, when he didn't get what he wanted, did he give up on his dream? Did he consider himself a failure? Did he have a pity party? No. What did he do? He smiled, he moved on, and he asked again. There are so many lessons we can learn from a 5-year-old. I was sharing this story with Michael Gerber, who wrote the E-Myth, one of the most famous business books of all time. And he was the keynote speaker at that conference where I was on faculty. I told him this story, and he said, you need to write a book, and you need to include this in your book. And I said, Michael, will you provide a back cover endorsement for me for my book? Here's like one of the most famous authors in the world. And he hesitated, and he said, normally I will never endorse a back cover, but I know you. Yes, I will. And so that's the power of being known also. You want to be known. Now, with the previous guest, his offer was crystal clear. Just get on my, jump on this quick call with me, and I'm going to help you do X, Y, Z. Be crystal clear in whatever you're sharing. Make it easy for people to find you.
That is such good advice. Clarity, simplicity, and being direct, I think, are 3 things that we can take away from that as instructions for moving forward in this crazy year that we're headed into, and everything that's going on. So you do help people write books. How easy is it? How long does it take? And how much does it cost? Right? Those are the 3 big questions, right?
He's giving you a test there.
No, for people who have never written a book, I offer a write a book program that I created. It's specifically for people who, have either written a memoir or want to write a memoir, rather. And because a lot of people have gone through, all of us really have gone through very challenging, very difficult life circumstances. We've overcome something that was against all odds, and we just overcame it. And I'd say, 99.5% of all people on the planet have gone through something that they've had to really overcome. And a lot of times people want to empower others who are going through a similar journey now. And so my write a book program is for people who have written or want to write memoir. You want to tell your life story to empower others. And then it's also for people, because I have a different format within the program, for people who just want to position themselves as the expert that they are. So that's important too. And that's more like of a steps program. Where do you put a quote, an anecdote, your data dump of information, and how do you set it up? So I just made that process really, really easy. I have a challenge for everyone who listens to me speak. And my challenge is, like when you read a book, I'm talking about nonfiction, there's often you folks had a quote at the beginning of the show, your vitamin quote. And in books, you'll often see that. There'll be a quote by a famous person and then the start of a chapter, or maybe the quote appears at the end. But this is my challenge. And my challenge is you be the person that other people quote. You be the person that other people create memes off of. Let your brilliance shine through. Let your unique differentiations shine through. I mean, how many times can we see Nelson Mandela be quoted, or others? They're just, or Margaret Mead, whoever the famous people are, they get quoted and requoted. Don't recycle other people's material. Bring your best self forward, because you do have your gifts to share that are uniquely yours. So in terms of the price of the Write a Book program, I like to offer it for half price to anyone who comes from, a show such as yours. They just have to mention that they saw you on the show, and or that they saw me on the show. And it's 100% guarantee. It's not working for you. It's an immediate money back guarantee. And, one time I actually had a person who contacted me about a year after she bought it and said, and she contacted me like out of the blue and said, I've used different programs in the past and yours was the best. So that was lovely.
So when you were talking about the price and how much it costs on the program, you cut out for a moment. So it kicked back in at half price. So everything before half price, we don't know what happened before that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on the website, on author1stop.com, it shows it at $300. I just tell people, click on my contact link and just, let me know they came from the show, and I just offer it at half price when it's, when I've appeared on a show.
Oh, that's so
which
nice.
I'm happy to. And again, fully guaranteed.
So my question for you is, I have this itch I've been journaling for about 10 years, and I think all of the journals that are out there are great. And I don't think that I can make one better. I just want to make my own. And I think it would be fun to create one. And I don't think I'm smart enough to make a book. So I think journal's kind of like, a starter book for me. So is that something that you can help with too?
Yeah, absolutely. Many years ago, I was the editorial director for a national Zen-based greeting card journal and calendar company. And so I got to pick out the quotes that went on all the journal pages and things like that. Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
Things like that are pretty easy to do.
Well,
or even tips booklets, things like that, things that, people might need support in any form of writing. And, truthfully, we also ghostwrite books, and every ghost written book that we've written, we've sold. And recently we got a $125,000 deal for a book we ghost wrote as well for one of our authors in a big bidding war. Simon & Schuster took it.
That is a good deal.
Yeah.
We do have one question in the chat.
Sure.
Evan wants to know, how do you navigate the situation when people ask for a price up front without wanting to first understand your value?
Yes. And so what I tell people, and because it's all true, I scope of your project. That's the first thing. I need to know the scope of your project, and I'm happy to provide the pricing for you. So after I have that 15-minute conversation with people, and I always tell them, I'm now going to send you my confidentiality agreement, because when you're writing a book, you want to know if you're sending your material or anything that's your intellectual property, which your text is, even your text for a journal, Jon. Mm-hmm. So you want to know that you have a confidentiality agreement, in my case, that I send people, and a rate sheet. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people, I will never waste your time or your money. I am not about that at all. And people like to have that sense of a guarantee, because it's very true that I will never waste anyone's time or money. But what is it that you can absolutely guarantee when you're sending your rates over? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, for me, it's my non-disclosure agreement, the NDA, which is the confidentiality agreement and rate sheet. And Jon, very early on in the show, you mentioned you have like a lot of templated letters on Evernote. For me, I just use my inbox, and I have many templated letters, which of course you can tweak if you need to per person, but all of the information is there. The rate sheet's ready to go. So anyone listening, just whatever the kind of information you have to share over and over and over again, that, for your frequently asked questions, make them into templated letters.
Mm-hmm. That's a really a great idea.
Yeah, much earlier on, you were talking about follow-up. I remember there was actually one of the women speaking, and the audience was talking about the importance of follow-up. And this is very interesting because when I'm in various groups, like, the faculty for the CEO Space organization, and we're doing a virtual call because everything's pretty much virtual now, and I make an offer to people, and my offer is, send me your letter of introduction that I can just keep on file for you in my big templated file of letters. When I meet someone who really needs your services, I will send them your letter. Write me something that I don't have to rewrite. I could just forward it with just a little note, please meet so-and-so who I know through X, Y, and Z. And I offer this all the time. And I think only 2 or 3 people have ever followed through. Now, I'm connected across so many industries. And so write a letter of introduction that people can send out for you. So, for example, when I've helped someone with a book-related question, and they'll say, oh my God, so helpful for me. Maybe they don't even need my services right now, or maybe never, but they'll say, how can I help you? Because I've been so beneficial to them. And then I'll say, may I send you my letter of introduction that you can send along to someone else? It's a free, great way to bring in business.
It is.
To get referrals. So can you write a letter of introduction? It doesn't have to be the Encyclopedia Britannica. It could be a couple of paragraphs in which you're getting your value across to people and what you can do for them. Credibility and what you can do for them. And one of the most important things you can add to your letter of introduction is a calendar link. I didn't used to do that. I used to have, just contact Randy at authoronestop.com or leave my phone number. And, very few people would respond. As soon as I put a calendar link on there, and I just use a free service, I just use the calendly.com free service, all of a sudden, people were getting on my schedule over and over and over again. I didn't even have a schedule. I didn't even know there was a calendar on Google. Now I live by my calendar on Google, and all day long I just go from listing to listing to listing. From call to call to call. And another thing that I have found really helpful that you might find to be very helpful is that in my letter I always invite people to a brief chat, and it'll actually say on the Calendly link 15 minutes because I don't want people to feel obligated or pressured, and you don't either.
I like the 15-minute thing.
Yes, use a calendar link and say the word brief chat. And if you need to extend time with someone, of course you can, but that's at least get that introductory conversation going.
I love it.
Those are some great tips. I do like that introductory letter.
Oh my God. I invite you folks to send me one. I invite everyone on this call to send me one. And let's see who actually follows through.
I think I use it in some instances of my networking, but it's not something that I've drafted and repeat. So I think I want to spend some time doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of to-dos from this show today. This is great. Thank you so much, Randy. I really appreciate you joining us today. It's been very helpful and useful. And we have a link that we're going to put in the chat so that if anyone needs to get in contact with you, it'll be very easy for them. One click and all of your information will be there. And Tracy's going to put that in just one moment. And with that, we're going to close out the show because we're running a little bit late and we want to be respectful of everybody's busy day. I'm going to put this on Tracy so I can hide for a minute. No. Oh, no, it's on both of you.
You're not doing a very good job of that.
No, I'm not. There you go. Now it's on you.
I put the link in the chat.
Okay.
For Randy, and all of her information is in there.
Super duper. And let's see if this
Gail,
works.
Gail does what Randy was talking about in the chat. Yes, very good show.
Yes. Thank you, Gail. I miss Dave today.
I miss Kim today.
I miss Kim today. We miss everybody.
We all missing everybody today.
It's what we're all doing it. You know, everybody's sick and everybody's got stuff going on. So, as Kim would say, life is happening.
Life is happening.
Good.
Yep.
We just
Yep,
keep
yep, yep.
him and the family in our prayers. It'd be awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'd heard of a family, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I do the
Oh.
intro, if I can just make comment.
Oh, go ahead.
When I do group presentations, I hand the person introduces me, the owner or the HR person, a made up script, if you will, the intro. So I use that instead of my doing it, letting them do it, but to expand it, like she says, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that Al's introduction is so well known that we were able to do it for him on the think tank yesterday when his audio failed.
Awesome.
I love it.
That was cool.
It was a
Good.
group
Like it-
effort and it worked out beautifully.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm being remembered. That's cool. I have to try to fine tune that some more.
Yeah. So, Gail.
Well, I think that wraps up our show today.
It does. And Epic Wisconsin is on Fridays at 10 a.m. And next week we have, let's see, does it work? Ooh, ooh. Next week we have Paul Newberger and Eric Thompson warming up your cold calls. If you don't know Paul Newberger, it's kind of a big deal when it comes to sales. So this is a show that you definitely won't want to meet won't want to miss. There we go.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing. And I think we're going to be in the studio next week and we're going to have a whole bunch of people here and it's going to be really groovy and I'm looking forward to it.
He's a great speaker, a
Let's
great
hope.
motivator. That's a wonderful guy.
Yep. Yep, it's going to be a big one. So we're excited about that. And thank you.
And then the other guest we have that day is I forget his name, but he's from Sander Training.
And
Another
Matt.
sales.
Is it Matt? Is it Matt?
here we go. Key's not working. There it is.
Kim.
Eric Thompson. There we go.
Eric. Okay.
Eric Thompson, yes.
Yes.
From Sandler Training,
Yep.
Oh, gotcha.
where they
Good job,
train totally
guys.
on sales. So
My only
big
thing is-
sales of
My only thing is you two need to let us know what we can be doing for you two, because you guys give a lot back to all of us. So what's a good lead? Make sure when you're plugging Serendipity, let's hear some from you two. That's my vote. I gotta go.
right,
But I
we'll
think
do that
next
next
time
week,
you
Gail.
guys
Thank
need
you.
to add that in there.
Okay.
Y'all
we
have
will.
a blessed
Okay.
day.
Yeah. All
Have
right.
a
Take
wonderful
care.
Thanks,
day,
guys.
everyone.
bye guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye
Thank
now.
you. Great show.
Thank you.